Aquí esta vez es buena idea ponerse la... Loco, hombre. Y no.
There's a greasy old spring mattress in the corner, resting on piles of soft cover books. White linen and a pillow are visible under a worn-out caracal blanket.
Someone has been squatting here. The linen is fresh, recently washed.
A flash of pain interrupts you, making you wince instead of letting the words out.
You know, officer, you can rest here if you are feeling tired. I will keep watch. You could use some rest for what's ahead. Yes, anytime. If you need a rest later, it's okay by me.
You don't have to be a hero. Books and magazines lie scattered on the floor and on a makeshift cupboard. They are not particularly well organized. Most are soft covers, serialized fantastique and detective stories from the 20s and 30s. This disparate digest includes the classic Animal Adventures. Popular depictions of man versus nature by amateur naturalists T&T Harpin, husband and wife. Widely read by people from all walks of life. Who doesn't like nature? Who doesn't want to survive?
Este centro Dom está bastante roto. Digo que pierdo 2 de su gestión, que he tenido que prácticamente subirme para tener... Bueno, y porque tengo una ventaja, porque ya tendría 4. No está mal, ¿eh? Me he subido bastante la sugestión porque pienso que es bastante... Y menos mal que he podido, mediante otras ideas, subirme el máximo, si no.
Among what is mostly commercial fiction and serialized stories, you find a magazine cathodique for electrical engineering. Then it's back to pulp. Light erotica, an international thriller about circuit benders.
Someone's made themselves a home.
Podemos vernos la extracción. Retórica, electro, tal... Interior, sugestión... Abstracción, necesito lógica, retórica... ¿Retórica? El pobre lo usamos tampoco. Abstracción... ¿Me sirve? Retórica.
Soft covers, serialized fantastique. Oh yes, under the bed, there is a rather extensive collection of critical theory, that is, dour, life non-affirming left-wing literature, published by small imprints such as Abattoir Firm and Ouzia. It's not exactly light reading.
Ouzia. Humanitarian sciences. Stands out. Not a lot of critical theory around in Ravachol West anymore.
Your incendiary remark has failed to provoke him. Wasn't there some in the communist students' room?
Well, yes. That one student did.
The little books seem inconsequential next to the big pile of frivolous entertainment covering them.
Whoever has lived here, they have some education and a certain set of interests.
Interesting. Soft covers.
No da ataque de...
Soft covers. Serialized
Ah,
fantasy.
que pertenece todo adentro. Es decir...
Soft covers.
Vale, sí. Ah, y eso también... Oh, coordinación ojo-mano. Ahora iremos ahí.
An old cylindrical generator is nested above the ammo lift, with makeshift electrical wiring running out of its side and across the floor. The cables disappear into the wall to your right. The lieutenant puts his hand on the metal barrel, checking for warmth.
It's cold now, but someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired. Downstairs, somewhere? Liquid carbon. I would imagine it takes mazout. The kind that's favored by vagrants and fuel thieves. It's been a long winter.
The lieutenant pauses. Something seems to be pecking at the edge of his concentration. He gives you a sideways look before adding,
Long and cold.
a hollow ring. The canister is empty. Dust falls from the generator and down into the ammo lift.
I don't know. I'm not a philosopher.
¿Qué tiene que ver la filosofía? ¿Qué tiene que ver la filosofía en esto? Mucho ingeniería, loco.
That is his idea of a joke. He nods approvingly. He even smiles.
Someone with basic electrical skills has restored it in order to keep the room warm. Maybe it's the fire guy.
¿Ves? Me quedó total.
The wind outside picks up suddenly, with a faint howl. Inside, it's warm.
Empatía menos 2 de compostura. Vamos a llevarnos esto de momento. Caso. Pero antes de... Vamos a ir por aquí. Ahora hay 2 sitios.
Green paint flecks off the monoblock aluminium cabinet. There are rows of switches on the front panel, a frequency band, and even a keyboard. The keys rattle like teeth. This keyboard hasn't been functional in decades.
The console of an antique computation device. The generator upstairs, with wires coming out. They terminate here. Urgence, ouvert, allumé, radiodiffusé. Sounds like this device was used to control the electronics here. Maybe it still does.
This device was used to control the electronics in the room. It could open doors, control lights, function as a radio computer.
We need to restore power before using this, officer. The generator, it didn't look like there was fuel in it. We should look around outside. There are barrels all over. Maybe one of them...
The boat engine. The console looks on as you... Nothing happens. The dial slides under the glass, silently.
Insular. This is an off-air radio computer, I believe, used for military communications.
It's an air gap.
Vamos, podemos ir por aquí, a ver. Y por aquí.
There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab, only half covered by the crumbling roof. At the head of it, double embrasures, firing slits like two eyes in the wall.
B triple prime. This looks like a good place to shoot from.
A single-person mattress, modern, civilian use. Brand name, Marjorie. There's a fuel stain on the cover, along with cigarette burns. And an empty can of beans on the ground next to it, filled to the brim with cigarette butts. The silhouette of a tobacco picker adorns the paper filter. The brand, Tio Moteri.
I may have been wrong when I said it wasn't important. This means the same person could have visited both locations. I didn't see any signs of smoking inside, though. If people live there, they keep it tidy.
There's a firing slit in the wall in front of you, like a little window. Quite old and grimy from years without cleaning by anything other than the rain. The springs screech as you lean on the mattress and crane your neck to look out. A small piece of Martinez coastline opens up in the square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting, 1 kilometer across the water. The ruins look familiar. A towering skyscraper, its top floors shaved off by artillery fire. Capeside apartments. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A and 33B. The red chimney and collapsed back of the 4-story tenement in front of the whirling in rags. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 10. The doomed commercial area.
¿Entre ambas?
The box-shaped silhouette of the whirling in rags. Its sloped roof, a tiny fleck of light catches your eye on the rooftop, sunlight reflecting off the upstairs window of Clausia's room.
Do you have a line of sight to the window? I can see it, through the scope of a rifle. The shooter would be prone, lying on the mattress, barrel resting on the embrasure.
Cheek against a cheek rest, hand on the hair trigger, on a calm day like this.
Good. I think we have it, Detective. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper's nest.
Affirmative.
Why? We don't go everywhere in the 1,000-meter radius of the crime scene. That's not procedure.
He looks north, over the fortification, then at the mattress.
Where? I have always assumed it's someone local. We should move now.
There's a rain-soaked...
B triple prime.
Vale. Hijo de... Objetos... Vale, para eso nos vendrá bien. Turismo, lo que pasó, ¿eh?
This old cylindrical, the lieutenant assists you, holding the canister up to the fuel tank as you tilt. Dark brown, viscous fluid pours out, and the room fills with a chemical smell. There's a red starter switch on the side of the cylinder and a start rope on the other side. The recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old warhorse before settling down to a rattle.
Vale, 5 de estoy para subir a otra cosa.
That should do it.
Nos podemos subir voluntad. Sí, 5 ya está bastante bien. Umbral del dolor podríamos subirnos. Un instinto incluso. Instinto. Oh, este también podría estar bien. Uh.
A dim golden
It's on. Turn emergency open.
automatic boot. The blast door opens with a series of clicks.
Vale, vale.
A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in.
After you. Don't worry. I have a gun. I don't know. Extra good did I do?
Al final no conseguí el arma. Yo creo que si haces la línea de misiones del tipo este te... Vamos. Aquí nada, ¿no? Hombre, bueno, tío. O tal vez sí.
An old man, wearing tracksuit trousers, leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth, then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. Unclouded by cataracts, his eyesight is sharp.
The what now? I can't hear you. I may have. All sorts of little rats have come sniffing around, trying to give up the position.
The position sounds like a hiding place.
Fire guy. Regressive bourgeoisie henchman. Can't even talk like a grown-up. My eyesight? Yes, helps me see all the shit. I did. And you opened it. How? I should have burned that console down. Reactionary rock and roll music. Playing on the water.
Told you we shouldn't play sad FM.
Sad FM, huh? I always hated that station. Phlegmatic, counter-revolutionary dirges. Sadness is a mental illness.
Pero busqué la gasolina, no se ha llevado solo la verdad. Todo ventajas.
The fascists were right about rock and roll. It is degenerate, hip gyrating, mental illness music. It's not nice. It's a piece of shit. But it gets the job done. It's a Triangong 446.
Southeast Samarin made. Exotic. Must be defunct too. No modern rifle manufacturer of that name springs to mind.
A Samaran rifle. How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Sinyao commune. Military aid.
It has stayed true to him. He can still make it sing.
You heard me. It's good now. Like chalk wiped from the board.
He's right. Almost no one remembers there was a third metastasis of the world revolution in the Safre Empire, extinguished in '06.
They wouldn't like hearing their name in your mouth. Damn dog.
The lieutenant pulls his pistol from the holster.
You are a glorified night watchman. This is a service rifle. I can only lay it down before an enemy commander of corresponding rank.
There does not seem to be a magazine in the well. The rifle's side is clearly visible.
You're right. It's a good thing I got one in the chamber.
Oh, wait. Yes.
No. Put it down now, sir.
Or you're gonna blow my brains out before you question me. To hell with it. It's out of bullets.
He stares on, his wrinkled mouth moving without a sound. A strange sadness, like a song.
The future teaches you to be alone.
The present.
The present to be afraid and cold. Real music. Real Prolet Cult. That's La Revacholière, not your rock and roll misanthropy. Chanson de soldat of the black and whites.
Marching song.
There you go. 1 of 3. In Grad, they sang Brave Children, Favorites of History. And in Sinyao, it was some Samaran shit, I guess. How did it go? Something about shooting rabbits. I don't know. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. It's gone now.
He waves erratically with his hand, annoyed that he can't remember. A little tremor passes through him. His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand, frame stocked and patched in places with tape and wire. The rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm, made of walnut. On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangon, 4.46mm, made in Sinyao.
Worn, personalized even. Looks like this weapon has seen a lot of use, hasn't it, sir?
No response from the old man. The plastic cape around his shoulders rustles in a small bout of wind.
Jacketed, military-grade ammunition. Stable in flight. Good for hitting something that's very, very far away.
The old man keeps following your motion with his gaze. His right arm twitches suddenly. Some kind of involuntary response? Something is slightly off with his motorics. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It could be used against him to get a confession. In time.
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross, Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol. I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender.
The Commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? You're a holdover from the...
From the Insular Indian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in '07, trained in the École de Contrôle Orient, and consigned to emergency defense duties in '08. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the Commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
No. I've been on other islands, too. I was an Resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was an E-48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. I was just 16 years old, 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Mazovian socioeconomics were fallible. For a second, I doubted the irreducible laws of historic materialism. A second is all it took for reaction to take hold. Petty bourgeois terror. It's in all men. It's the same thing. You haven't seen it. Not really. Not naked. It's impossible not to be afraid.
And this was when?
May the 13th, 08, 44 years ago. The horizon was black with coalition airships. Their petroleum rose to the sky, and it looked like it formed the clouds, storm clouds. When they started shelling, it was dark magic. The combined might of international capital, all at once, all the greed and terror in the world, tore into Revachol. It lifted streets from the ground and turned houses into ghosts. We were in the flak tower, huddled on the floor. The artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozon, but I knew the commune would fall. We would all be turned into ash. So I said I was going to the map room. I ran. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid inland, in the bunkers underground, like the weakest of the weak. A mouse, frightened of the ordnance all night and the sound of the rotors in the morning, whirring. Airships. I climbed out into hell. The landing was complete. The chain was submerged. I had to swim back. The fortress was half submerged too, shattered.
Estas ideas no las he sacado. Te lo he tenido que borrar, pero bueno.
They'd all drowned in the lower levels or got torn to shreds above. The anti-aircraft gun had malfunctioned. So had I. I left them without ideological direction. It was real. I'd seen it. I'd seen it in reality. The mask of humanity fall from capital. It has to take it off to kill everyone, everything you love, all the hope and tenderness in the world. It has to take it off just for 1 second to do the deed. And then you see it, as it strangles and beats your friends to death. The sweetest, most courageous people in the world. You see the fear and power in its eyes. Then you know that the bourgeois are not human. I had to fight it. I had to never stop. It's not an island, Dwat. It's a defensive fortification of the commune of Revachol. And I am its last surviving defender. The congenitally deformed King Philip II built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in '02, retrofitted the fort with an AA gun to defend against an airborne landing, against the whole world. Coalition military called it Operation Deathblow. I later found out on the radio they called it Deathblow. You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We had 50 million people on Caillou alone. Nah. Iblis. Iblis calls it that. The black-eyed angel. How does anyone survive? I steal.
Now hold on there.
Supplies, vegetables. I collect rainwater. It's the life of a dog, not a human being.
How is your health, Mr. Dross?
I've been throwing up blood since winter. Red, like beetroot. Been passing it in stool, too.
He does seem frail. Gaunt for his age. More like 75 than 65. Trouble putting on weight could mean cancer.
The RCM can provide medical services. You need to be looked over.
I need to die. You don't have medical facilities. You have guns. That's all they give you. Toy guns. There's nothing to look over. The triage is in, and it's black. Administer morphine. Moribund. I have been running out of that stuff. I haven't. I have holes in my brain. Years missing. Others filled with pain only. A decade of... I don't even know what. Inferno?
I would imagine it gets tremendously difficult, mentally, to live in isolation.
Traitors. It's better alone. I watch the people of this city turn the lights back on, more and more each year. Ruins, glimmering in the dark, like a fucking merry-go-round. It's disgusting. It was hard in the Thames. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds. Floodlights on the water at night.
There were posters, campaigns.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Coal City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Forburg, even Coron, and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking kips had Marsov coursing through their veins. And others too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. The frequencies dead. At night, I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot, the commons too. They'd started snitching.
In the city, you move underground?
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Elmer Graves, right? Useless now. Rusted away.
So you've been there?
Sleeping. Some nights. Ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraves were shit, even before they corroded. Some had bullets in the chamber, however.
You feel the dots connecting. Little dots on the map he's walked across.
The propaganda bunker. I used to, but not anymore.
Propaganda bunker?
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves. A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. I do. They're good. Plenty of tar. I like that boy on the pack, too. Reminds me of the last century. I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals.
The old man looks across the water, at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above it.
You're with the RCM, the coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol. You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International, the enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary, le Parti Communiste d'Insolande. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
A spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal in the fire pit. Rene, the royalist on the coast, said,
Liberal reactionaries signed that instrument. Traitors who should have been burned alive.
Is that part of why you've been here all this time? Because the party didn't surrender?
He just wipes the blood from his chin.
Honor is a feudal atavism. My motive is class. 43 years and 10 months. It's not how a human being should live. But I had to. I couldn't just forget. I couldn't just forget what I saw.
What have you been doing during all this time?
Hiding, fishing, waiting. Always waiting. All for her to return.
Her who?
Girl child, revolution. I am not a fool. I know. The material base for an uprising has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore, however hard I try, whatever I do. No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army. Trained in historical materialism, then assigned as a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something.
The old man does not answer. He tilts his silver head and looks at the reeds. You see a small tremor pass through his legs.
His job was to assure the army answers to civilian control and follows the ideology of the Commune.
Scientific communism. A commissaire politique is a night philosopher of the revolution, a future human.
Awakened from shutdown by the promise of ideology. He nods slowly, then another tremor.
There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce. I've used it for killing people.
Killing people?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property. I've used it to kill people.
Interesting. During or after the war?
There is no after. The war. Class.
So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay. This is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. This is what you live for. This is the shit. The great serotonin jackpot. The solution. Going straight. No euphemisms. He doesn't like those. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal. Nothing comes to you. Silence. His black eyes look at you.
I don't want to tell you anything, you grotesque murderer.
And why did you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me. I'm wrong all the time.
What did I just say?
What did I just tell you? Don't drop the ball now.
Pues retórica tenía razón todo este tiempo.
The who now?
He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part. Right choice. We're in. Do it, sire.
Oh, yes. That one. Ugly piece of work, that boy.
Did you kill him?
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime.
Exhaust him with proof. Pile it all on him. Get a confession. The gun. The murder weapon is the perfect opener. The scent of blood in the air. But what else? There was something you can't remember. Something about the tracks. Suddenly, all those tracks are so confusing. Go with something else first. Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Clausia's roof. There were Maybells in the grass when you got here. They're revolutionary symbols from the war. Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom. Now they're gonna come up. You got it. Remember, the boot prints were like no modern soul. Maybe don't beat yourself anymore, though. You're not immortal.
Tiene razón.
Damn Maybells. The whole island is turning white with them. So many this year, too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away. They blossom on the islets before we fertilize them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May, before they ruined it. The coast, too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with.
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths? Pinball workshops?
I may. Classier.
He knows her, but hadn't heard the name.
My ears don't reach the city. With the victim.
There is a small tremble, looks like a smile, a crooked smile, yet isn't quite voluntary. He's about to burst. Almost, but you need one more, just one, or maybe two.
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa.
Show me the souls, please, Mr. Dros.
Fucking imbecile.
The maker is called Sensorique. You see their V-shaped logo, but can't make out the size. These are not the unusual horizontal patterned souls you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size.
The size fits, but not the soul.
Sire, he doesn't have to be wearing them right now.
Racking those brains, are you? Desperate to report something back to your masters? They must have really loved that dead fuck.
The lieutenant gives you a quick sideways glance and nods to acknowledge. The prints were his. You can see it in those eyes. He can't keep them from flickering, looking for something. The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silent suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance. More. He's gonna crack. But you need a little more.
I saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascies. Did you like the view?
You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete, specifically meant for a top follower to use. And you had a long-range rifle in your possession. You've been here a long time, Mr. Dros. Too long. You clearly need medical aid.
I'm ready to die. I've done my part.
He's practically admitting to it. Dead fascists for fascists. Done his part. Just one thing remains unclear. The rifle does not seem to have a scope.
Because it's a sniper's nest, you stupid fuck. Radio Gosh is right. You have worms in your brain.
Leave no stone unturned. Get him on what matters most.
Stupid dwat.
The lieutenant looks at you with worry in his eyes.
Intuition is an aberrant psychologism. It reeks of crypto-fascism. The parasite class use intuition to justify their rank in life. It's all just palmistry and magic, Earl creatures. Your brain is rotting from the radio waves.
He does not answer the provocation. It does not look like he thinks this approach worked. Yeah, this just did nothing. But still, somehow you knew it was a communist. Perhaps you suspected it before you took the case. The vision was you remembering that. Was it supposed to? The inland sea is dark, vast, and on the surface, meaningless. No, the miracle is still waiting. This is the darkness. You are. Soon it will happen.
Standing there, slack-jawed, brain festering.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun. Not like your musketeer pistols. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns.
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen. He would have a good view of the tribunal from here. It's not just empty boasting. So he saw you. Okay. So what? Don't let it divert you.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it? Good. This feels good, doesn't it? Playing things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have...
Murder.
Por si acaso.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood. Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
Retórica lo estás haciendo muy bien. Y por subirte un puntito, ¿eh?
The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you, while the lieutenant listens, holding his breath.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them, in phase, and I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth. I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, and that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her. Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
Yes.
And you were looking at them, the victim and a young woman, having sex, through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him?
The old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
The motive. This is where the motive is going to come from. You can coax it out of him. The lieutenant's preparing the ground.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
I'm always looking.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle's scope has the best magnification.
Helps him see all the shit.
And if you don't like it?
Click.
Then you pull the trigger?
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
He will not stop now. These dialectical materialist types never do. Exploit it. You got him going. Connect every little piece now. Wrap this up like a gift.
Them fucking. I didn't like that. Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself, drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore. And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second, writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
He wants to see her covered in blood. To punish her.
She practically breastfed that man. You wouldn't believe the things she let him do to her.
The old man raises his gaze. Something glimmers in the corner of his black eye.
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this.
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stones dripping with water. Is he crying?
Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know. Yes, over the years. It's not unproletarian to feel something. No. I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of our room on the floor. The day after I killed him. Yes, I don't know why I do the things I do anymore. Maybe, I told you, I have holes in my brain now. I wouldn't just sit here waiting.
A sudden pang of rage.
If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you.
In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes.
Since she came to Martinez, I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Feld building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving.
Past the Feld building on the coast? What was she doing there?
hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her, smoking. She was nervous, but not scared. Her passport and ticket to Villiers. And from there to Cachet Brut.
In the free state of Seminine, hidden away at the edge of the earth, near the Pale.
After she was gone,
Did you keep what was in it? When we found the submersible, it was empty.
no. Why would I do that? I didn't need tickets to Villiers. I'd put them back. If I wanted to extort someone, I'd do better.
This implies that he's thought about extorting her. Also, a little inconsistency here. He was surprised to hear her name Clausia before. Would he not have seen it on the documents?
It didn't say Clausia in there. It was something. I don't remember. It was dark that morning. I only remember her face on the photo. Why would I need that trash? I'm not going to Villiers.
A strange confusion comes over him from time to time. Some kind of aberration of the nervous system?
I did. She had a face like an archipelago, with those birthmarks, and a body hard and lean and bruised all over, black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook, on the run. Revershal's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
You could tell she was a spook? From the documents?
She had different color hair on the photo, and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
He's setting it up for you. The bruises, you can't make that out in a scope.
You can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur.
It quickly comes to you.
Oh, yes.
Pues muchísimas gracias por la raid con Oro y Ghost.
Little lines with a knife. Masturbating.
Did you make that hole?
With a clip point knife. Like that, too. Yes. Bending like a bow against the glass. I've been through all of Martin.
¿Qué tal ha ido el directo?
Every
¿Todo?
nook and cranny.
Pues estamos delante del asesino. Todo este tiempo. Y es un hombre, un señor viejo, enfermo.
Yes, that too.
Que se está medio muriendo.
Things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works.
Y lo hizo por celos, una mezcla de celos, ideología. Tampoco le funciona muy bien la cabeza.
You turn it on inside,
Por sus
and
lagunas
it gets so dark out,
mentales.
you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but...
Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen. A quick glance at you.
How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
One more thing. The flowers, Mr. Dross. The dried flowers that were on the roof.
What about them?
There. He's already admitted to it. Just ask.
I did. I shouldn't have. It was a mistake. I was there one night, and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of her room. On the day. Yes. I don't know why I do. Maybe.
A sudden pang.
If you...
In the silence, the lieutenant draws...
Her.
The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement.
Compostura. Vamos a guardárnoslo por si...
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days. Good for her. That girl kept staring into the scope, you know. In the end, this last week, kept staring at the island. At night, crying or smoking on the roof, like she knew I was here. It doesn't matter.
He knew she knows. She was looking at the island, figuring it out, day by day, cigarette by cigarette.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
Who knows what he's seen and done over the years? You could get more out of him. He likes talking.
Hombre, lleva no sé cuánto tiempo solo en una puta isla.
Take him in. Bend his arms behind his back and end this.
Vale, vamos a subirnos a... Compostura. Esto aumenta.
A tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
A strange little engine seems to fire up in him again. It straightens his back. The familiar put of hatred.
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house, stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez is the worst. Because of the racists, everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world, listening to race-themed radio shows. Pumped full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that social democratic union and the farce of a social democrat who runs it. Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III. Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. In tents, like animals, like those boom-boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs. The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So, actually, no. The worst is that old cock parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too. Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon or Coyamorang. or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children. That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt Frisell. We did good when we pushed him under the horse car. Until, in the 30s, those disco whores.
The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter. There was something about a statue and nihilistic advertising agency people might be worth investigating.
Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the proletariat. Placating the masses.
Disappointment. So personal. He displays a familiarity with the union's top brass.
That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean, the brains of the operation. The smart one.
Edgar.
He talks a big game about uprising and social base. They must have sent the smart one to some university in Le Jardin, where it's alienation this and hegemony that. First against the wall with him.
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course. Maybe the Clears asked him to. Don't go straight for the kill. Exhaust everything else first. Soften him up.
I haven't approached anyone. I hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains. Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was a man of the left, wouldn't rat me out. I was right about one of those things. Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about the struggle. Flaunted his pink degree. Even quoted Mazov. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Mazov. Oh, and charity, too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought. 20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then.
That's around the time the Clares came to power.
Let me be here. The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol. We took this fortification from the Loyalists. Even the Clares understand this.
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy?
You know why I killed that fucker, Dwat. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways.
Okay, he didn't do the hanged man for them, but he's insinuating something. Oh no, the connection doesn't come to you on such a pivotal moment.
What?
To your right, you see the lieutenant give you a quick sideways glance.
About this deal you made. With Edgar. The death of the colonel mercenary was only coincidentally beneficial to the Clares. But what about the other people you've killed for them?
Other people?
Like the previous 4 women of the Union.
That's it. That's what you weren't connecting yourself.
I didn't fight 40 years to end up an informant for the international regime. What happened, happened.
Still dumb. Your eyes are transfixed on his digit. It's yellow with nicotine. Before, when you asked him about the Union, he said it was a disappointment. They promised him something political.
Look who's up. You're worse off than me.
We will have plenty of time to talk about this, Mr. Dross, when you're in pre-detention. It takes years in pre-detention.
Go ahead. I've been in solitary confinement my whole life.
Ease off it. This was not an unmitigated disaster. The lieutenant mitigated it. Just proceed, calmly.
Syphilis is a disease Philip III contracted in a whorehouse. The statue is an abomination. The bacteria entered his brain and made him squander trillions on sparkling wine, cocainum, and monuments of himself. His son, Philip IV, the insane, contracted syphilis in the womb.
Una de las cosas que hace el sífilis es destruir neuronas, lo que puede producir la demencia.
That is technically possible, although Philippe III was not actually syphilitic. He was just mad.
And he still went on to govern Revachol for 25 years. We lost 2 million lives toppling that mode of government. And those grotesque statues, too. Hundreds of them. What a keen remark. Yes, it is, isn't it? It's still there. Do you know why? That's right. Some advertising cockroaches erected a cynical deconstruction of it. We tore it down with honest working-class plastic explosives. And there it is again. Art is a bourgeois establishment. It's an affront to humanity. Every gallery should be bulldozed, and the artists should all be given 30 years of hard labor in Yekokata.
Wait, the bullet hole in Philippe's heart. The statue had been shot. That was him. It had to be. He's already proven capable of taking a far more complicated shot from here.
I did. A needless, sentimental gesture. I should have spared the bullet for a deformed monster of liberal capitalism. Shameful, really.
Yes, shameful. So many others to punish over the years. Isn't that right, detective?
The fat union man let them put it there, corrupt as he is. Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that ball. One ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. Royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. A petanque maniac race traitor. I remember him. I remember him from La Noce. Not him, personally. His make and model. There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the Liberals came to their rescue. We missed one. That one. Fat and plump, like a pheasant, just begging to be popped off. Please, Mr. Dross, shoot me.
He whispers with such predatory hunger. It borders on longing.
Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals, right on his face, and just fiddle the trigger.
Save the treat for later?
He is a juicy bonbon, that one. A real treat for the black day. The blackest. When I put that gun in my own mouth, I think, no, don't waste it. Put this lead in that cock, Rene. For the boys he killed. And then I look at him throw those balls, and I suddenly feel better. I even hid one bullet, so I'd always have one for him. Haven't seen him around lately, strutting around. Must be down with arthritis.
Hearing it may destabilize him. You sure you've gotten everything from him?
No. I waited too long. I waited too long, and now he's dead?
Sí.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dross. I understand you knew him for a long time.
They're all dead now. Fuck it.
If he really wanted to kill him so bad, he would have done. There must have been 1,000 black days on these islands. His health ailing.
And I blew them all. What does it matter now? He's gone. Ancient dust. All human beings care about each other. I cared for seeing his head explode. Now, God damn this world. Fuck you. You think I haven't seen people die? It's all I've seen them do. Fuck and die. All the other plans we had. To love. To colonize the Pale. It's all fucked.
He's not okay. This is just another black day in a row of black days.
I don't even care about those whores anymore. Get it over with. Take me in.
Rene must have been quite a loss for him. Maybe you could still get him to talk about things that don't require as much rage, because it's not there anymore.
Glad we talked about what?
His lip curled.
Glad we talked about what? I ain't going.
Compostura. Necesito los zapatos de compostura. ¿Dónde me da? Compostura, compostura.
man stares despondently at the logs. It's like he's forgotten you're there. What strikes you
Bueno,
about
con
this
un crítico
gaunt man
encima.
is not the stomach pain, or the cough, or the malnutrition. For a man who's spent 44 years hidden in the urban wild. Indeed, he speaks fluidly. His movements are rapid, if erratic. His voice, despite the cough, is there. It is capable of expressing complicated ideas. Above all, he seems animated. It's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost too. Erratic hand gestures, thought processes cut off like threads, as he just stares at the logs or the reeds. He also suffers mood swings, bubbling to the surface, unconstrained by his nervous system. You've seen demented people before. This feels similar, yet different. When his thoughts move, they are lucid, keen even, not senile.
No, I'm not okay. I shit blood, and I'm surrounded by insane people.
There it is again, erratic hand motions.
Un momento. Vamos a ponernos...
The old man stares despondently at the logs. It's like he's forgotten you're there.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken all around you. Little shivers of waves appear. The lieutenant continues, like an incantation.
Your wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand? Do you understand?
But... No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
He's sweating. Beads are forming on his forehead.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
You thought you heard something, but it's just the reeds.
No tengo nada que me dé percepción, ¿no? ¿Qué percepción? Creo que no tengo nada. Algo me sube la percepción. Perdón. Algo me sube la percepción. Electroquímica, conectividad. No. Me resta percepción. Me resta percepción. No tengo nada que me suba la percepción. Oh, mira, sí, esto me sube la percepción. +1 de reacción, no me sirve. No, -1 de percepción. Joder, ¿en serio? -1 de reacción, +1 de coordinación, tal, -1 de compostura. Vamos a intentarlo, aunque está difícil.
The old man
What?
Vamos a...
Your wayf... Do you?
But... No.
He's sweating. Beads.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
You thought you heard something, but it's just the reed.
Quiero volver a intentarlo. De que salga. Quiero ver qué es lo que hay en los juncos. Tengo curiosidad. Tengo las botas. Tengo las botas. Oye.
The old man.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
The wind.
Your wayfarer. Do you?
But... No.
He's sweating.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to...
You thought you heard something, but it's just the...
Maldita sea, deja de fallar la tirada, por fin. Si hubiese más cosas que me diesen percepción, loco. No tengo nada, solo tengo las botas estas. Si hubiese sabido... Me doy instinto, hubiese subido percepción.
The old man.
What?
The
Your way... Do you?
But... No.
He's sweating.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
You thought you heard something.
Ah. Puedo 3 veces más y si no ya lo dejo.
The old man stares.
What? But you said I...
The wind.
Your wayfarer. Do you?
But... No.
He's sweating.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
There it is again. To your north, as it has been since you came to the coast. The reeds whisper, stalks rubbing against each other. But then, in the middle of it, something completely different. It sounds like a bow, very slowly being drawn against the strings of a violin. A very small violin, made of reeds and rushes.
Maybe there is room for 3 on the boat. What?
What are you talking about? Is this... really us?
Your skin crawls.
¡El criptido ser! ¡Una criatura gigante! ¡Ah! What the hell?
A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just stand there,
Un bicho gigante.
its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence.
De juncos, tío. No puedo. ¿Qué coño es eso?
What are you talking about? There's nothing there.
The stick insect is over 3 meters.
Pass me this.
It looks straight at you, with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head. You feel your legs shaking under you, and your gun hand move to your holster, but you don't have a gun.
Tell me what you see, damn it. I can't make out one small thing in the reeds.
I can see it.
No puede ser, tío.
4 simple words, thank God. If he can see, then you're not insane.
Definitivamente no está.
But that means it's really there, spinning slowly, in absolute silence, its limbs long and slender.
Mírale. Ay,
Be
Dios.
very, very careful.
¡Ay, no! ¡No! ¿Qué he hecho? ¡Ay, otra! ¡No! Oh, ¡qué tonto soy! ¡Qué manía tengo de darle el botón que no es, loco! ¡No! Me da el botón de... ¡No! Hay que volver a... No, lo siento, gente. Hay que volver a intentar la tirada.
The old man.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
The wind.
Your wayfarer, do you?
But... No.
He's sweating.
Your confirmation is not required, sir.
There it is again. Something.
Vale,
Maybe
esto ya...
there is room for 3 on the boat. What?
What are you...
Your skin crawls.
Ay, Dios. Quiero pulsar F5 y pulso F9, me cago en la puta. Pero bueno, no pasa nada, ha sido rápido. ¿Cómo se mueve? Es increíble.
A delicate tangle of arms and legs.
What are you talking... There's no...
The stick, you feel your legs shaking under you, and your gut.
Tell me what you...
I can see.
For simple, but that means it's real.
Be very.
Vale, F5. A ver.
The creature stands on long stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from its head like a woman's hair, white and curled at the tips. It is no more than 5 steps away from you. Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks. The hiss is different from the strings you heard before. It says something else in a lower pitch.
¿Cómo? Que no, loco. Tengo un 83%, anda. No me...
You big.
¿Cómo no voy a espantarlo? Encima sí tengo un montón de feromonas, supuestamente, loco. Estamos ante un momento histórico.
The creature stand. Read like the hiss is different from the strings you. Slowly, with your breath held, you take 2 small steps toward the phasmid. The creature lets out a series of ultrasonic clicks that swarm around your head like swallows. Sweat drips from your brow, soaking your chest. You reek of it. Your chemicals. The tracheal system on the creature's abdomen expands in front of you to take in and expel air. It's smelling you. Hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin of its white limbs. The head of the creature is crowned by reeds, and its eyes are like small droplets of water.
Okay.
There is no change in the insect's motion while it's being aimed by the camera. It remains fixated on you.
In 3. If it moves, you jump back. I'll shoot. Here we go.
The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The phasmid freezes in its bright light. Head turned toward the lieutenant. Hypnotized by the flash, it stands frozen before you.
I got it.
The limb before you is incredibly light, like eggshell. It's much lighter than a reed. You feel a soft push could tip the creature over. Its hollow exoskeleton collapsing. Warning! A small shudder passes the creature's arm. High High above you, its black pearl eyes still glisten, mesmerized by the light passing its nervous system. There is some kind of countdown happening as it slowly processes the overwhelming brightness of the signal. The invertebrate is regaining control. Here, within the smooth white inner part of its limb, you sense something very intimate. Thoughts.
The nervous system could be spread out like that, over the extremities, like a cuttlefish.
Or a rhyocinta, an occidental leaf insect with its brain stored in 4 leaf-like extensions, or a mimicry octopus with its intelligent tentacles. The antennae hang from a great height. With your hand shaking, you barely touch the tip of the left whisker. On contact, the chitin curls into a spiral, like the tip of a poison ivy. Its touch on your fingertip feels cold, ticklish. It is surprisingly delicate, the curly end of the whisker, like a young vine. It's even a bit wet.
Be careful, detective. It's moving.
You were right. It glistens with some kind of moisture. The creature in front of you stays frozen. It tastes like sugar, very faint. The anthropod towers above you, tufts of reeds pointing from limb and head alike. Odorless, mostly comprised of water. Another shudder pulses through the creature's limbs. It jolts back to life, like a record continuing where it left off, in a swaying, praying motion. Even the small black pearls of its eyes do not stray from you. No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth, along with what appears to be some kind of foam. You were right. Little bubbles form on the mouth parts of the creature, on its segmented lower lip. It looks to be foaming, slowly. The foam is white, then yellowish.
Careful. It may be poisonous.
The foam slowly turns a darker shade, like burnt caramel, as the insect moves its mouth parts, masticating. The little bubbles begin to burst, one by one. As you back off, the phasmid also takes a step back into the reeds. Something tells you the next time you engage and disengage, it will probably flee. The arthropod follows you with
tenía que haber
its
intentado.
antennae. Hissing and clicking, the arthropod extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you again. You're right below it, looking up at the colossal chitin of its white limbs. Its small eyes look...
I exist.
¡No! ¡Que no está hablando! Claro, también
Tell me
existe.
what it's like for you.
Dime, ¿cómo es para ti?
Yes, holy is the Lord of hosts, and all the earth is filled with his glory. Now, I will tell you what it's like for me. For me, it is a series of half-lit images, a kind of darkness, being intruded upon, transient, dim, moist. Shapes of plants and animals, and internal sensations. A swarm of sounds, tiny vibrations on the inside of my forearms. All speak of complexities totally beyond my understanding. I am at the end of a narrow funnel, weightless, so light, it only feels like something to be me. In truth, perhaps I'm nothing. I certainly do not have a soul, and if I did, it would never ache. Few of us can begin to imagine the horror of you, with all of creation reflected in your forebrain. It must be like the highest of hells, a kaleidoscope of fire and writhing glass. Eternal damnation. Even when you're sleeping, and when you wake, you carry it around on your neck, with eyes open that cannot help but swallow more behind the mirror. I feel great, mute empathy for you. That must be incredibly hard. The Arthropods are in silent and meaningless awe of you. Know that we're watching. When you're tired, when the vision spins out of control, the insects will be looking on, rooting for you. And when you fall, we will come to raise you up. Bud from you, banner-like, blossom from you and carry you apart in a sky funeral, in honor of your passing. But not me, because I'm just a leaf eater. So am I. I was born to detect sucrose rewards and semiochemicals. What were you born to detect? I can also detect pheromones. The ones on you tell me that you will not eat me, and that I will benefit from your closeness. In short, no, you are awake. I am real. Light is forming me. This is real. Not even the birds know that. Not even the water lily. You can also eat it. If it's a leaf, you can put it in your mouth. Yum yum. Or read.
Wait, so...
Yes, they don't mind. Yes, I once cloned myself and ate the little ones. It was winter, and I woke up at the wrong time. It was an accident. I am an unknown species of the order Phantasmodia, endemic to the Insulandian Insula. For the last 350 years, I have hidden in plain sight, masquerading as the reeds, molding, cloning myself, unfolding at night to play with trash bins and boys.
It may have unknown, dangerous biochemical characteristics that help it maintain its camouflage.
No one unnoticed by the first settlers and the land surveyors of the suzerain. Also, by the soldiers of the revolution and the officials of the occupation. Even the Seminese islanders who came here first, but did not stay, have not seen me. I have stayed hidden through 4 forms of government and 2 scientific revolutions, until I was accidentally discovered by a detective of the citizen militia in Revelshop, district of Martinez, March 51. Yes, I do not have a starter display, so I use a neurodegenerative element to aid in camouflage. Do not worry, it is only destructive over long periods of time.
Por eso está loco, porque ha estado mucho tiempo expuesto a él. Porque así que utiliza una alelomona neurodegenerativa, y lo que tiene es neurodegeneración a este hombre.
The deserter. He's been here for a long
¿Ves?
time.
No. You are the miracle.
¿Cómo?
The moral of our encounter is, I am a relatively medium life form, while you are extreme, all-engulfing madness. A volatile simian nervous system, ominously new to the planet. The Pale too came with you. No one remembers it before you. The Nidarians do not. The radially symmetrics do not. There is an almost unanimous agreement between the birds and the plants that you are going to destroy us all. It is a nervous shadow cast into the world by you, eating away at reality. A great, unnatural territory. Its advent coincides with the arrival of the human mind. You're a violent and irrepressible miracle. The vacuum of cosmos and the stars burning in it are afraid of you. Give me enough time, you will wipe us all out and replace us with nothing. Just by accident. We suspect it will be something like the oxygen holocaust that wiped out anaerobic life 2.6 billion years ago.
Eso es verdad,
When
pasó.
organisms first started breathing. Only much worse.
Instead of air, you exhale thoughts. There are no trees that eat thoughts.
Everything your eyes touch goes back there, behind the nose mirror. What if you blink? Are we still here? Please don't blink. What if you misplace us all one day, or just forget? Please be. Or one day, one of you will close your eyes and sigh, and open them to see that none of this ever existed.
It doesn't look like that, no. You're just staring at it. Okay. Is it somehow related to the case? I think you should back away from the unstudied species now.
No, there is one more. Thank you. I also have one more thing to say to you before you go. That woman, turn from the ruin. Turn and go forward. For all mankind. She was held on Earth. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that.
Maybe it is real, the pheromone.
The insect's head is crowned with reed-like scales, the shape of seed heads. They rustle as the air moves. The ventricles at its abdomen continue expanding, like lunglets. Breathing you in, your sour, greasy semiochemicals on the breeze. The insect stops its stridulation, seeming to observe you. Below its crown of reeds, little pinprick eyes detect motion, glittering. The world stands still around you. Suddenly, there is silence. No, stop. Be afraid. As you do, the invertebrate comes to life, its limbs moving independent of each other, as if each has a mind of its own. They are white, like stalks of porcelain, knitting above you, praying to you. The reed creature does not stop its stridulations. It towers above you, parting the reeds it emerged from. Tuft-like structures still rustle on its joints. Perhaps it is preparing to eat its god. As you're turning away, the phasmid mirrors your movements, stepping on the water, the long limbs carrying its feather weight without
Adiós.
breaking its surface.
Adiós. Qué criatura más magnífica.
And just like that, it's gone, skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but circles on the water. and something under it. In the place it stood, bobbing there, among the reeds, a collection of items.
It's gone. Looks like a nest of some sort. We should have a look. Apparently, yes, like a water strider. Only, I've never seen anything like that in my life.
What now?
Our suspect is not looking so good. We need to check on him.
This passport, issued by the Sovereign Republic of Oranje, is issued to a black-haired woman called Katarzyna Alazie.
Classia's hidden documents. From the...
It's Klasia, with short black hair and glasses. She looks boyish, younger somehow.
Maybe our man, Mr. Dross, took it from Classia's, or whatever her name was. Hiding place, or... Like a magpie? What a coincidence. Then it would also have collected the other objects, which would be highly unusual. Maybe our man, Mr. Dross, perhaps, but that still doesn't explain how it got into the nest. Like a magpie?
By now, the lieutenant has accepted your unusual methods.
Así me gusta aquí.
She said it would be for Anouk Meyer-Smith. Anouk Meyer-Smith.
Katarzyna Alazia was supposed to be her real name, where Klasia comes from. Remember? God damn it.
Yes, somehow she managed to lie to us one more time. In a way, she's still lying to us right now. I don't know, but it's not Katarzyna Alasia or Klasia or Anouk Meyer-Smith. We didn't even scratch the surface with her, detective. Perhaps it's better that we didn't arrest her. Who knows what hell she'd be raising in my district by now.
¿Qué tiene eso? La ropa. Casco de Firewater más 500, más instinto más tal. Y lo otro es... Bueno, es hora de... Oye, lo vamos a llevar, loco.
What is it? What do you want from me? I can't go.
Something is very wrong with him now.
See.
Mr. Dross?
The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets, his gap-toothed mouth shaking. A light shiver passes him, followed by nothing. His hands are trembling, and he breathes slowly.
He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem, doesn't it, Mr. Dross?
The trembling mouth appears to sigh.
Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid. Old age and shock. Yes, the arrest and the appearance of the phasmid, the combined stress. But you think it's something more than that, don't you?
Quite a few things about that health check you did on him make sense now.
told you? Yes, good. During your training match. I understand. He did seem distressed when it finally came to arresting him, like he didn't want to leave this place, and the insect maybe. I have absolutely forgotten to take notes. I hope I remember all of this. This will be one hell of a report. Thank God.
No one would believe you without it. He stares into the reeds. Your words don't stir anything in him. Perhaps you should. Nothing. The last embers have gone out.
If Kuno kicked it into the sea, as he said he did, the ebb would put it back here. This makes sense. Mr. Dross could have picked it up. Or the Phasmid even. If it did, this is incredible.
No reaction. This is an old man, at last. No longer a tin soldier, but the broken down remains of a man.
Did you take this passport and other papers from a boy on the coast?
The spirit.
He hears us. The spirit?
No reply.
Try something else? We got him back for...
I lost.
He turns his eyes to the reeds again, as he's done so many times. Beige and white stripes.
He lost the scope. Then it somehow made its way over there. With the help of a magpie Phasmid? This sight is a T9, Mr. Dross. Was it attached to the rifle when you made the shot?
Silence. Not even a sigh. The plastic cape flaps around his face in a gust of wind. His back is slouched and his mouth open. The strength is all gone out of him. Just frail.
We should think about getting back to the mainland. To get help. He'll be safe here. If we don't take too long.
The skiff is swaying on the waves by the dock.
Let's. We are done here.
The skiff rocks gently under your weight as you get in. The ride back is uneventful and quiet. But for the sound of conversation on the water, there is someone inland waiting for you. You reach the jetty and climb out of the skiff.
Look what the tide brought him. Harry, you're bleeding all over the place. You're half dead.
Whatever this is, it is completely unimportant compared to what you've just seen. This is the man with sunglasses from the Whirling in Rags. But where are his sunglasses?
We're not forgetting about anything. Look at you. That's right. And you're bleeding. Bothered by it. Harry, you look like you need a fucking organ transplant. Oh, fuck it. Let's not get into that.
Hello, I'm Trent Heilerstam. I believe we've met on several occasions.
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean Vicomar, and this is your special task force. Or what's left of it. Special Consultant Trent Heilerstam, Patrol Officer Judith Minot.
Hi.
We've come to scrape what's left of you off the pavement.
Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi, Prison 57. We've just come from the island, where our investigation led us.
The scene is making even him feel as though he has to justify your actions.
We might need your help with something later.
As if he recalled that he's in fact a decorated police lieutenant and not a naughty boy.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
It's good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuhagi.
Letting the lieutenant know he shouldn't feel embarrassed over the shit
¿A qué había esto?
about to befall you.
Ari, we want to help you. Trent, I believe this is where you come in?
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best an enthusiast in cognitive science. My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact, I should probably get going.
No, Trent, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid?
Shit kid. What an interesting moniker.
You. Shit kid, that's you.
Maybe you've deserved it.
The cafeteria manager you fucked over told us where you went. Strange. He didn't mention that. In fact, the establishment didn't look safe at all. There was a giant aerograffito in front of the building, mixed with blood. I don't know. It had shit kid written all over it. Guilty as charged. I heard you'd lost your mind and your memory. I wanted to see if it was true. And it was. Good work, Harry. You're insane now. There's one less person for me and everyone else to rely on.
He was too sarcastic for you to realize who he was.
Did you? Or did you literally not recognize my face? We've been partners for how long, Harry? Don't answer that. You
Absolutely no idea. 100 years? He's right. Don't start guessing. Now's not a good time.
Lieutenant, my name is not Horse-Faced Woman. It's Judith Minot. I was assigned to your unit 2 months ago. I thought we were friends. Right, sir.
No.
Lieutenant, my name is not Horse-Faced Woman. It's Judith Minot. I was assigned to your unit 2 months ago. I thought we were friends. Okay. Because you're my commanding officer, I really want to respect you.
That will never happen, Jude.
Lieutenant, okay. You're my commanding...
That will never happen, Jude. He's the rudest man on earth. He's...
Yes, I'm Trent Heilerstam. I never said I wasn't Trent Heilerstam. Mikhail? Mikhail's my son. No problem. What indeed? I was asked to share my take on some of the more obscure theories developed in Königstein in the 30s, like partial psychotraumatic amnesia, group personality theory.
He's here to see if you're insane. He is smart. Let's move on. Duped? Hey, here's a brilliant idea. Don't be a morbid drunk and you won't be duped so easily.
Yes, I'm still Kim Kisolagi, still a lieutenant
Menos
from
mal.
Prison 57.
Yeah, Major Crimes Unit, under Lieutenant Dubois and Vicomar. Ring any bells? Refresh your memory? It's a goddamn Major Crimes Unit. There's you, me, Jude, Tron fucking Idlestown, and Guillaume Baby.
Lo que no entiendo es por qué se enfadan conmigo. Es decir, no soy
Technically,
culpable
just a
de...
civilian advisor.
Bueno, puede ser, ¿no?
Oh, fuck you. You're part of this shit show. Oh, that's an interesting story, actually. Guillaume Bevy is a police reporter who joined our team. He was really good. Then he left because he lost faith in your ability to lead the unit. Other people have left too. Good, smart people. People we won't get back. Only me and this really patient patrol officer are still here. And Tron because I'm forcing him to stay.
Is this Guillaume Bevy blonde and partial to sunglasses?
See? There. He's getting it. I was impersonating him. Look at me, I'm G. Bevy. It was going to be funny, but then you really did have brain damage. So not so much anymore. Do? It's a major crimes unit. We clear the desk of cases so Precinct 41 doesn't look like the worst station in town. We are shit tier now, Harry. Because of you.
The 41st isn't...
Where have we been? We've been fucking off as far as I remember. You told us to fuck off. You said we're cramping your style. Your detective god. Fuck everything. All we burn. Detect or die. Yes, you're sorry. You're the sorriest cop who ever lived. Nothing has changed, Harry. I've heard this repentant shit a million times over. Where have you told us to fuck off? You said we're cramping your style. Your detective god. Fuck everything. All we burn. Detect or die. Yes, you're so... The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage. Trant, this is where you come in. How...
Well, he doesn't have visible tremors, he talks without slurring, he can drive a boat, he's standing, reasoning. All good signs, but complete retrograde amnesia, episodic and semantic.
Meaning, you forgot both who you are and the definitions of money, e-solar, pound, and so on.
As displayed in the station call, our interactions with him, and I don't want to be a snitch, but also mine with him before when Harry did not seem to know who I was. It's all...
Interesting?
Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, what do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and why not socioeconomically?
Psychotraumatic amnesia, Trant? I can go for that. Shit kid is a broken man. Always has been. Who isn't? I know I am. I keep my shit together. Also, I know a person can't wipe their own mind, however traumatic it gets. That doesn't happen. You're lying, or insane, or both.
But Detective Vigmer, he has blanked out before. Yes, a couple of times. After some of the more serious benders. One was after the two drunks case, the other when we looked into that mural.
So you don't remember not remembering.
Ya ves.
Beautiful. The two cases in your ledger, the unsolvable case and the next world mural, those cases were hard on you.
Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes into it, prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea, yes. Practice. And then he used alcohol to get there, so to speak.
What do you mean?
Well, here's my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Something to be explained, approached as a defect? Look at the sensory input here. Look at the ruins, the neon. Listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years. As a police detective, he's like a magnetic reader on the world tape, to borrow a known metaphor. Harry's been pushed flat against it. Total input. Hardwired to the free market. He just needed for it to end.
Okay, Trent, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the major crimes unit? Is he a cretin now? I want to know that.
He's not a cretin, and he is able to do work. If not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective.
For now, I misphrased my question. It should have been, is he able to put his clothes on and use the body? Or do we need to get him on a disability pension? Now nothing. Now we're just going to stand here. No, now we discuss that. What the fuck did you do to our motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry? Ah, so refreshing. He just admits it. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for destroying 45,000 real of police property that's coming out of everyone's payslip. It doesn't matter. Your badge, Harry. Show me your badge.
He squints at it, suspiciously,
Bra, que la tienes, loco.
trying to ascertain if it's not a blue candy wrapper or a piece of vinyl.
Joder.
Okay. And your gun?
Gun. Yeah, you don't have that. Maybe you can philosophize your way out of it.
Se dio la quita, me va a mandar a la mierda. Como es esta persona, me va un puto mandar el avión.
You're drunk, aren't you? You lost your gun and you're drunk. You're a drunk, gunless bum. I can't smell it. So you forgot to drink? I don't buy it. Why do you smell like a corpse then?
He's wounded. It's been a long week, and he's handled an actual corpse.
A bit of a week? You're drunk, and you let a suspect escape, a certain Clasier, because you were too drunk to assess a flight risk.
We've read the reports, Harry. Lieutenant Kitsuhagi's. We know.
Sure, if it's part of your master plan. Let's not even get into the other suspect who also escaped. Another detail? Or the fact that you're Everclear's little peony now, doing I don't know what for him. That's small-time stuff. That's nothing. That's a humorous anecdote. Compared to the 8 people who were gunned down, the streets are literally red with blood, Harry. It was fucking mass murder.
He did everything he could. We did everything we could. The company hired unvetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois got between them and the locals.
Exacto.
He did so at considerable risk to his own life. He was shot, not once, but twice. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been. Detective, it's better if I do that.
It's so much better if he does this. A million times.
Pues sí, la verdad es que sí.
Thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation. You've spent the week with him on this case. What is...
On the case?
On Lieutenant Geoffrey Dubois.
Well, the drinking, the gun losing, also losing the badge. That's all true. Although he has not been drinking on the job this week.
¿Ves? He sido puro.
See?
1 week.
Then there's the self-flagellation issue. He likes to apologize, profusely, making it sound like he's guilty of at least first-degree murder. It's not a good communication strategy for an officer.
Ya, es que no soy agente.
It's just strange, especially in light of his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a true blue moralist. He recently attempted to contact a coalition warship in order to assign la responsabilité, which is commendable, but also at odds with his own behavior.
Soy un hombre contradictorio. ¿Qué se le va a hacer?
Other still, he is also an ultra-liberal hustler who is always on the grind. How he reconciles these 2 points of view, I do not know.
Soy Capricornio.
But
¿Qué se
he
le va a
is
hacer?
vocal about both of them. And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, something I was not present for. But despite all this, he is a great detective. One
Ojo.
of the best I have seen, in fact.
Gracias, que siempre te he apoyado, ¿eh?
He can talk human beings into telling him everything. And he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped pursuing leads, however far-fetched and tangential. He is tireless, madly driven. Well, except that one time when he stopped to sing karaoke, which by the way was a valiant effort. He really sang his heart out.
Eso, dile lo del karaoke.
Yeah, it was what it was.
Other than that one time, he has tirelessly worked on the case, and he solved it. We have a confession, a murder weapon, and the perpetrator, locked on the island right now, awaiting transportation. He apprehended a straggler who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who's probably committed other murders over those years. Oh, and he also discovered a new species.
Importante, lo de la nueva especie.
A new species?
A colossal stick insect. It was on the island, camouflaged as the reeds. It unfolded from the reeds. I think we may be dealing with the Insulindian phasmid.
Eso díselo.
He takes out the photo of the phasmid and shows it to the officers across the yard. The wind blows, flapping the glossy rectangle in his hand. You hear gasps beneath the howling of the wind.
As you can see, it's about 3 meters tall. In fact, we think it may be the largest land invertebrate ever discovered.
Fucking hell. Is this somehow connected to the case?
Detective? The old man was not aware of the phasmid's presence. Exhibiting a strange, typical dementia, he fell into a
¿Qué
stupid
pasó, Jim?
appearance. He became near catatonic.
So it is connected.
Soy mejor agente. Soy mejor detective que vosotros. Dos. Y
I
sin
must
memoria.
say, this is absolutely extraordinary. I don't even have words for it.
Yes, it really does make it hard to fire the drunk.
Ajá.
Now you make your case. Now is the time. Now or never.
This is a conversation for when we are no longer out in the open. In Martinez, where Evrard and Edgar Clare have ears everywhere.
And eyes, too. Your return from the island must not have gone unnoticed.
Understood, of course.
I would prefer not to partake in anything Union-related, for political neutrality.
This has to be good stuff for him to backpedal out of it at first mention.
Es momento.
Female? What makes you think so?
You had to see it. It had the subdued colors of a female. And the nesting behavior too, I think.
Incredible. Were there eggs in the nest?
Not as far as I could see. There were other things there, though.
Actually, you know, this would indicate it was a male.
Bowers are built by males of the species who can't afford colorful mating displays.
Of course, as I said, I'm only guessing. I didn't see it. It must be robust if it can move a whole helmet with its limbs. As in cloning itself? What makes you think so? Well, then it wouldn't matter if it's a male or female. The bower would just be rudimentary behavior from before the parthenogenetic mutation.
That makes sense.
Very interesting. Such organisms are extremely vulnerable to disease. A single strain of bacteria could wipe out the whole species. We're probably looking at conservation efforts here.
In his mind, he's already planning a nature reserve and knows a good guy for that.
Yes. That would be a chiromone. A pheromone that's seemingly beneficial to the host. It usually stimulates the affected nervous system. Not a human's, of course, but perhaps a predator's? There are species of bees that, under the influence of chiromones, take wasp larvae to their hives. Ants do the same with aphids, thinking they're... Do you think this is how it stayed hidden?
Nothing is off the table. But I want to stress this. The find does not have to be connected to the case. The case is 100% prosecutable, without any chiromones.
Of course, Lieutenant. Of course. We should treat the case and the phasmid as completely separate from each other. People are not going to...
They're not going to go for this speculation in the constabulary.
Like cephalopods? Phasmids, I think, only have nerves in their heads and abdomens, though. There is a correlation between invertebrate size and intelligence.
No, I wouldn't say it was...
At that size, this creature would have a lot of surface area to put neurons into. It's basic geometry.
Yes, but also reed-colored, beige and brown, a little green on the outside. After unfolding from a single stalk, it still retained parts that looked like reed tufts on its limbs.
Bueno, aquí ya he llegado a los 108.
Incredible. The PR value of this is exceptional. Carp discovers new species. Maybe even discovers the Insulindian phasmid. No, that's too much.
Quiero subirme algo. Tengo 2 puntos de habilidad. Spirit Corps, por si acaso. por ejemplo.
This would really help with some of the problems we've been having.
Absolutely, this is great. This does not say vigilante murderers to me at all. This says science, news, human interest. You know, it's a really good thing you have that photo.
Without it,
You're doing good here. Perhaps only for a moment, but still.
yes. Fallen through a gap in a boardwalk. Drunk.
The body was transported to Precinct 41, our morgue. I had Tilbrook and Mullins take care of funeral arrangements and family stuff.
You're not the only cop in the world, Harry. This all comes back to us.
Still, good work with the missing person, Detective.
Lilianovich. A revolutionary matronym. The custom started in Grad, where they have patronyms. Krasovich, Lasovich, etc. The revolutionaries saw this as a chauvinist atavism, so they used matronyms, derived from the mother's name instead. This man's mother was Lilian. His Lilian's son, Lilianovich. The custom was overturned after the revolution failed, but not before it made it to Revachol.
So, it is what a soldier of the ICM would be called.
Thank you, Trant. Thank you for that piece of cultural theory. You said
Of course, excuse me, I just thought it was noteworthy.
He wasn't quite sure about the straggler before he heard this detail. It must have convinced him.
Ya, una mezcla de todos.
And it worked? He got a war going?
Yes, until we stopped it.
Exacto,
He
que hemos
saw the
parado.
mercenary as an ennemi combatant. There's plenty for prosecution to pick from, as far as motive is concerned. Also, we have a sniper's nest with full view of the room in which the mercenary died, right on the island, and 2 officers on the scene that Mr. Dross confessed to.
It's a clean win.
Exacto.
Oh, it's way more than that.
Perfect folding mechanism. Get over yourself, Harry. I can still smell the booze on the wind.
God damn it. Doesn't it ever leave? It
Yes.
is there, like in your bones or something. It will pass in time.
Uf.
What was that? It sounded like you set up a nightclub in the church. That's great. Anthroponaut is a great new career for you. After police officer. I don't care. Go live in the Pale.
4 kids were living in a tent on the ice. They were going to drown when it melted. It's not optimal, but the building was abandoned, so he put them in there.
Exacto, es que...
It's not that okay. Get off this subject now.
I don't know what a doomed commercial area is. Why? That's not what you were supposed to do here.
There was a possible witness in there, and it was close to the crime scene. He was just chasing a lead and ended up advising a local shopkeeper. It was okay.
¿Por qué no ves?
Call it community outreach, right?
Exacto, es que... Por favor, Jim, siempre igual.
dodged a bullet there. For a moment, it seemed like you were just wasting time.
I don't want to, but you discovered a new species and solved the murder. So I have to. Jude.
Anything that ends the trial is okay with me.
¡Ojo! Como te he superado, querido Jim.
Agreed. The public relations potential of this is too valuable to let go.
Okay. We have vehicles in the square, and the perpetrator needs to be taken into custody. Let's go.
The man looks westward, impatiently, jingling his car keys in his pocket.
Who are you? You're a gym teacher, Harry. Well, obviously you're not a gym teacher anymore, but...
Before you were a cop, you were a gym teacher in Coron. It's getting really cold outside. Should we maybe...
Harry, it explains everything. The running around, the jumping, the bicep girth, your inexplicable facial hair. Some of your more old-school wording choices. Your posture, even. The constant stretches.
No tiene sentido, claro.
The raw, robust stamina output. Also, this guy. Just everything about this guy. And this guy, too.
Of course. Contact Mike.
He's been on about Mike again. I hate that guy. Oh, you don't say. Does he also vault an impassable gulf of finance and privilege?
It is getting cold out.
In your 20s or late 20s, you've really let yourself go since then. Yes, you taught gym in Coron. I believe that's the term. Taught gym at a high school. You were a high school gym teacher.
The smell of sweat and glue. The worn floorboards. Coron is just east of Jamrod. It was a short walk every morning to the baseball field.
No tiene sentido de repente.
High school. Harry, your goings-on with Kuno, Andre, Acel, the whole thing on the ice. That's why you are so juvie.
The regular. You found some chick. She inspired you to fight the big fight. Be more than you are. All that.
You, every morning, walking from Voyager Road to teach gym. She, leaving for the academy with her spring coat on. The air filled with the smell of smoke and raspberries, and incredible hope. An ocean full of hope.
I knew it. I knew no normal human being can run like that. He's an honest-to-God gym teacher.
It's not a mystery. Some chick fucked you over. Also, you were drunk. Dora something? Dora Ingerlund. Yeah, you mentioned the name.
Not Dora Dubois.
Something like that. Half Vazan.
Vasa is where beautifully and impossibly blonde people come from.
No one is married anymore. This is Revachol. God, I don't know. 6 years ago, she was way before my time.
6 years and you haven't gotten over it. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, or 7. You're not doing too good there. It's an old man thing. 2 old years equals 1 normal year. That and Dora Ingelund really tore you a new one. A big one. Incredibly bangable. She was incredibly fuckable. A beautiful bourgeois woman. Wayfish. Like a Welkin, basically.
Snow Welkin. Blonde Welkin.
I've only seen a picture, but it's obvious you formed a real spiritual connection with how pretty she was. One you never recuperated from.
Look, the sun is about to go down. It's time to go.
I think she taught in the Académie des Arts, east of the river. Way east. Hard to say which came first, the middle-class chick or the drink. Egg and the chicken kind. My point is, you need to see a psychiatrist about this shit. Not a psychologist. Several degrees harder. Is there something harder than a psychiatrist? A forensic psychiatrist? Go talk to that.
In other words, he's heard enough about this.
No. You're too unstable to work for a mob boss. You're suicidal, Harry. No mob boss would take you.
Tiene sentido.
I assure you, I wouldn't consult for a corrupt unit.
He would immediately backpedal out of it. I told you it's not that bad.
Us? We're the bloody murder station, haven't you heard? We're the bad guys. No one likes us.
That's not true. Jamrock is too big for one precinct. You are just understaffed. And everyone respects the 41st. You have Captain Price.
Thank you, Lieutenant. You're being kind. It is an understaffed station and the district is too big, which is why we need to...
Get back to it. We left Torsen and McLean to run the Sea Wing. It's not good. Mac the Torso Torsen and Chester McLean. They're not fit to run a wing. Believe me. Things are shaky as it is.
They are damn iconic though, Torsen and McLean.
Yeah, not like us. Two clinically depressed old men. Where's the contrast here? We are garbage. Okay, it's not the bloody murder station. It's an old converted silk mill with green desk lamps and a coffee corner. A lot of good people work there, hard, every day.
Jamrock is the largest ghetto in River Shoal. Faubourg, technically, but it's divided into 11 districts. Jamrock only has us.
The press will blow over. Jamrock is lucky to have you, and it's often considered to be the greatest of the districts. You're lucky to have it.
Thank you again, Lieutenant.
Well, first I will go back to my station and write the most detailed report anyone has ever seen. It will have to be good to cover all these. Then I will have a serious talk with my captain.
Okay.
Detective, we just stopped a small-scale war. Something is happening to Revachol. I don't know what yet, but it's going to be a hard spring for the RCM. We need to get ready, infiltrate, investigate. Talk to Captain Price? I'd rather not ruffle the feathers of two captains with my doom-mongering. Work with Price? I'm flattered, but I don't know if I...
Pero, Kim, por favor.
You fit in, and crazy enough, can take the stress. He doesn't know how to finish the sentence.
Vente,
This
Kim,
truly
te-
came as a surprise to him.
Eres muy buen
Not a
compa.
bad one, but he's at a loss.
Flattered? You're Lieutenant Kitsuragi. We would be flattered if you even considered.
I would have to tie things up in GRIH first. But, I mean, whatever is coming, Jamrock will be more central to it than the harbor.
And we also have a huge caseload, Lieutenant. Piles that we need to get back to. Mountains, even.
I do like the sound of that.
He's really considering it.
Good.
Fuck it, let's go. Tron brought his motor carriage. It's a 20-minute drive to Jamrock.
The great district hums in the falling rain. A chessboard of wooden houses, 80,000 living souls, fire traps as far as the eye can see. From Main Street to Grand Couronne, from Precinct 41 to Boogie Street, forking into the rain-swept horizon. You close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits by a factory window, dreaming of meteorite strikes. On Rue de Saint-Jérôme, a square bullet slides into a square-shaped chamber. In Old South, a man without eyelids smiles. Spring has come. It's time. Dawson? Yes. McLean? Yes. Heidelstein? No. Vicmere? Yes. Dubois? Of course. Really? Nix Gottlieb looks up from the list. I hear he's unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing. Captain Potomny Price gestures with a ballpoint pen. It's dim in the office, and the curtains are drawn. Harry's our man. He'll pull through. When he does, he'll side with the RCM. Understood. Gottlieb returns to the list. Minot? Of course.
Wonderful. Then can we please just go back to Jamrock now?
Mirando cómo ando cojo. Adiós, Kim. Has sido un compadre. Vamos a suponer que se ha abierto el coche, la puerta del coche. Y que no lo están atravesando, ¿vale? En mi cabeza ha abierto la puerta y simplemente es un bug visual. Y nos hemos terminado Disco Elysium. Dios mío, tremendo directo de 7 horas. Pero, joder, juegazo, juegazo, me encantó. De principio a fin. Maravilloso. No sé, no sé, me quedo sin palabras. A ver si en un futuro sí vuelve a jugarlo y nos hagamos otro tipo de personaje, en plan, bueno, otro, en plan, vamos con otras características, intentamos otras rutas, pero la verdad es que muy satisfecho. Seguramente me veo un vídeo explicándome todo el lore que hay detrás, porque hay un montón de lore que más o menos he ido captando, pero sé que era mucha información. Pero bueno, al final todo bien, hemos resuelto el asesinato, hemos descubierto una nueva especie, hemos ayudado bastante a la comunidad. Es verdad que no hemos evitado una guerra. Ha habido víctimas, sí, una desgracia, pero bueno, podía haber sido peor. Y encima no teníamos el arma, es decir, nos ha faltado recuperar el arma, eso es verdad, pero bueno. Pero todo bastante bien. Y con esto, muchísimas gracias a todas las personas que están apareciendo por aquí por hacer tremenda obra maestra. Y terminamos. Después vendrá Fear and Hunger. A ver qué tal se nos da. No puedo saltar los créditos, interesante. Pero bueno, vamos a dejarles ahí. ¿Qué os ha parecido a vosotros el juego? Me lo podéis decir aquí ahora mismo en el chat. O si estáis en YouTube. Hola YouTube, os quiero mucho. Lo podéis dejar en la caja de comentarios. Y yo os leo encantados. Un Fortnite. Ahora mismo Fortnite. Ahora mismo Monty va a replantearse cosas. dentro de la cama. Ah, he estado con la skin de Ay, bueno, da igual. Es decir, encajaba con la situación. El arte era una cosa esplendorosa, maravillosa. ¡Mua! El guión estupendísimo. Es verdad que ha habido... Bueno, he tenido 2 bugs pequeñitos, no me han impedido en ningún momento nada. Y ha habido 2, bueno, en verdad eran 3 contando que ha habido como hubo 2 diálogos que no se tradujeron bien al español, como que hay una traducción ahí y se mostraron en inglés, pero bueno, tampoco ha sido para tanto. Hay que entender que son muchos diálogos y a veces puede haber algún error o tal, no pasa nada. Y luego está el bug este de que Kim se ha transportado dentro del edificio y supuestamente tiene que haber estado fuera y tenerle yo que haber abierto desde dentro. Eso no pasa nada. Porque al final no ha impedido que el juego... No ha habido ningún problema en torno al juego. Y luego el bug que hemos visto visual de que se tenía que haber abierto la puerta y no se ha abierto y han entrado... Bueno, pero... Es decir, no ha estropeado la experiencia como en otro juego que empieza por F y acaba por Fallout 4. Pero bueno, maravilloso juego. Yo lo recomendaría jugar a todo el mundo, pero entiendo que todo el mundo no está hecho para este tipo de juegos. Así que, por lo menos, yo qué sé, tenéis estos mis directos, donde podéis haberlo disfrutado, ¿no? Mi pregunta es, ¿cuánto queda de gente? Me gusta que haya trabajado tanta gente, pero... No todos los que han traducido ahí. La música maravillosa. Qué pena que tenga tanto derecho de autor, pero... Porque me van a reclamar los vídeos de YouTube, pero bueno, no pasa nada. Mira, ahí. La localización española. Tenemos a Javier Castro, Alex Borrajo. Javier Castro, Alex Borrajo. Pues eso, jugaremos al Fear and Hunger 1. A ver si hacemos serie de eso. Deberíamos de continuar con el System Shock, que lo he dejado parado. Pero sí que mañana haremos directo de Half-Life 2.